Virgin Suicides is a 1999 film directed by Sofia Coppola, based on the book by Jeffrey Eugenides. The narrative centers around the suicides of the 5 teenage Lisbon sisters, and the story unfolds through the retrospective account of their male peers who were captivated by them. Set against the backdrop of the sisters' inexplicable deaths, the boys, now adults, revisit the events leading up to the fateful decisions made by the girls. The film has an inconsistent viewpoint, but primarily unfolds through the lens of the boys' narrative, where the line between fantasies and memories becomes intentionally blurred. The ambiguity surrounding the distinction between reality and the boys' perceptions adds a layer of complexity, making them unreliable narrators. It is unclear whether the events depicted truly occurred as shown, or if they were filtered through the subjective and often idealized lens of the adolescent boy's imagination. The viewers are immersed in this uncertain perspective, forced to see the world through the eyes of the boys. An example of inconsistent viewpoints is the sightings of Cecilia, the first sister to commit suicide, after she passes away. She is seen as a ghost by 2 of the narrators, once in a tree and once sitting on a bed. However, she is also seen by her father in her bedroom, who is not part of the collective narration. There are also scenes with zero ocularization, when the film offers no point of view, like shots showing empty rooms void of humans. For example, after the girls have all died, the camera shows a montage of objects around the house that the girls owned when they were still alive. This could be the viewpoint of the grieving parents reminiscing about their daughters through cherished objects, or it might represent how the boys imagine the house to look like after the girls' passing. This deliberate ambiguity adds to the film's enigmatic atmosphere, reinforcing the notion that certain events and perspectives are inherently elusive and subject to interpretation. The title of the film itself encapsulates the 2 central aspects that define the Lisbon sisters in the eyes of the male narrators. Virgin symbolizes their perceived purity, or conversely, the lack thereof, particularly in the case of Lux. The sisters' sexuality becomes a focal point for the boys, reflecting their curiosity about the extent of the girls' experience and, more significantly, how willing the sisters would be to engage with the male narrators. Lux's love life and sexual activities, for example, become subjects of voyeuristic observation, such as when the boys watch her through the telescope, engaging in intimate acts on the roof of her house. The fascination with the girls' sexuality is heightened by the restrictive environment imposed by their strict parents, allowing them very little freedom. The paradox of the sisters being seemingly untouchable due to their sheltered upbringing adds an extra layer of intrigue for the male narrators. On the other hand, suicide represents the mysterious dimension that shrouds the sisters in the eyes of the boys. The central quest of the narrative revolves around unraveling the reasons behind the sisters' collective decision to end their lives. The boys meticulously investigate every detail of the girls' lives through interviews and ephemera, attempting to piece together the puzzle of their motivations. Paradoxically, the boys, consumed by their obsession and desire to understand the sisters, neglected to engage in meaningful conversations with them while they were still alive. The title encapsulates the duality of the girls' identity in the eyes of the male narrators, caught between the perceived innocence of their virginity and the enigma of their tragic suicides. As already mentioned, Lux is viewed as an erotic subject by the male narrators, and this is how she is subsequently portrayed in the film. She is the dominant sister, as she is often singled out by the camera and editing. The film progressively shifts its focus more onto Lux's story, underscoring her significance among the Lisbon sisters. This may be due to her being the most sexually experienced sister that the boys find her the most interesting, and why the other sisters are given less attention. Her promiscuity makes her the most interesting of the girls in their eyes. She is portrayed this way starting with the very first shot. Lux is shown in a medium shot, standing in a suburban street, licking a phallic-shaped popsicle and then looking directly into the camera. A similar suggestive shot is a close-up of a nearly translucent Lux winking at the viewer among the clouds and under the title sequence, giving her a mystical and ghostly look. These shots establish an immediate and provocative impression of Lux and a suggestive and alluring atmosphere. The strategic use of camera shots, editing, and visual symbolism not only underscores Lux's role as the object of desire, but also shapes the viewer's understanding of her character before the narrative unfolds. The introduction scene of the sisters in the film features a distinctive stylistic choice, where individual shots of the girls getting out of the car are momentarily frozen, resembling photographs being taken. This effect is heightened by the inclusion of each girl's name on the frozen image, similar to labeling seen on a photograph. This deliberate act of capturing the girls in a photographic-like moment serves two significant purposes. Firstly, it foreshadows the ephemera that becomes central to the boys' obsession with the girls. Secondly, through the boys' voiceover, the film implies that in these frozen moments, the boys themselves act as cameras, trying to imprint the vision of the girls into their minds. This concept is supported by a quote from Michael Tournier, as cited by Hovland. "It is plain that photography is a kind of magic to bring about the possession of what is being photographed. This stylistic device, therefore, mimics the boys' desire to somehow capture and understand these girls both visually and physically." The boys in the film rarely engage in verbal or direct interactions with the Lisbon sisters, yet they believe that they can grasp the essence of the girls solely through observation. As the narrator says,
Bonnie and Tauris came to school as though nothing had happened, and we felt that if we kept looking hard enough, we might begin to understand what they were feeling and who they were.
Rather than viewing the Lisbon sisters as individuals, see them as ethereal, almost mythical beings, sexualized virgins to be both liberated and corrupted. Despite claiming to love and want to understand the sisters, their intentions are questionable. An illustrative example is when Peter Sisson, a boy invited to dinner by the girl's father, searches through their bathroom. He finds a lipstick and smells it, imagining it belongs to Lux. This is supported by the imagery that follows, a close-up image of Lux in the sunlight, flicking her hair, closing her eyes, and breathing deeply. Before he discovers the lipstick, he finds a box of tampons in the cupboard. By this he is a bit shocked, as if he is bewildered by the fact that these are menstruating humans and not ethereal creatures that exist purely for their pleasure. This realization seems to disinterest him, highlighting a peculiar dynamic where mysterious, feminine objects incite arousal and longing, while aspects solidifying the sisters' humanity are ignored or treated as inconvenient reminders. The limited knowledge about these girls allows the boys to overlook the qualities the boys deem unattractive and project idealized fantasies onto them. This intentional ignorance serves as a mechanism for the boys to maintain a distorted perception of the Lisbon sisters, emphasizing their mythical qualities and enabling the perpetuation of their romanticized and sexualized ideals. In the climactic scene from the Virgin Suicides, the boys sneak into the Lisbon sisters' house with the intention of helping them run away. During this moment, one of the boys candidly says,
"These girls make me crazy. If I could just feel one of them up just once."
This statement sheds light on that being physical with the girls is one of the main objectives of the boys, as well as the fact that they do not see them as individuals, but a collective other, a sexualized, mystical entity. As if to respond to the statement and its implications, the camera pans to the left, revealing one of the sisters' legs dangling from the ceiling. Her act of hanging herself serves as a reminder that the Lisbon sisters are not ethereal beings existing solely for the boys' pleasure, but, in fact, individuals who have experienced profound suffering. In conclusion, the Virgin Suicides intentionally places the boys who observe the Lisbon sisters at the center of the narrative, making them the protagonists rather than the girls themselves. The boys, in a sense, speak on behalf of the sisters, constructing assumptions about their actions by engaging predominantly with other men to gain insights into the sisters' lives and the reasons behind their suicides. The film's intentional ambiguity, reflected in inconsistent viewpoints and an enigmatic narrative, invites viewers to engage with the elusive nature of certain aspects and events and perspectives. It challenges the consequences of objectification, social expectations, and the enduring mysteries that surround the lives and deaths of the Lisbon sisters.